Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, when you're having these disturbing, scary thoughts, it's important to realize that these thoughts aren't your own. See, what's happened is that because you're highly anxious, your body's in this fight or flight mode. So your body's in this survival state. So because it's in the survival state, it's burning off excess adrenaline. And so what it does is that the first thing it does is really, it looks at everything you're scared of, thinks about the worst case scenario, even though it's probably the least likely or pretty much impossible, grabs that and magnifies it. It makes it seem like that's going to be the most likely scenario. Now, why does it do that? Well, 100,000 years ago, a million years ago, if you were able to prepare for a threat, chances were you were able to survive. So if you thought the worst case scenario, you just had a higher chance of surviving. Now, that doesn't work in 2019 or whenever you're watching this video. So the first thing to realize is that because you're in a fight or flight response, your body, your mind is obviously going to think of the worst case scenario. The second thing to really understand is that because you're in this sensitized state where your nerves are on edge, where it's irritated because it's been in this fight or flight mode for so long, what it does is that it produces excess adrenaline. And so this excess adrenaline allows our body to kind of gear up for this fight or flight response. So a lot of the blood ends up leaving the digestive tract. It starts going to the muscles. It starts going to the head, which is why you feel lightheaded. But you still have excess adrenaline in the body. One of the ways your body can burn off this excess adrenaline is through thoughts. It's through the brain. Remember, 25% of your glucose is burned off by your brain. So it requires a lot of energy. So one of the ways it can do that is by burning off adrenaline. So what it does is that it burns it off in thoughts. What happens is that these people who are struggling with anxiety is that they end up identifying with these thoughts. They somehow think that these thoughts are their own thoughts. And then that's where the self-loathing comes in. And because they feel guilty and they feel shame, that just keeps them alive in the fight or flight response. So what do you do? How do you fix this? How do you end up having these thoughts now work for you, not against you? Well, the first thing to realize is that thoughts aren't your own. The second thing to understand is that these thoughts are more of a result of having excess stress hormones combined with a tired mind.